Hello everybody, and today we'll be showing you how to do an amazing sleeper PC build. All the parts we acquired, some were used and some were brand new. You can acquire each and every single one of these parts either lying around your house, or you can buy them brand new for a cheap price. This is a budget $200 to $300 PC build, and we're going to be going over the parts before we build with you guys. The first part we'll be going over is the motherboard, and what we chose was the A6 8HM-E33V2. It's a very cheap motherboard. It only costed me around $50 to $60. You can pick this up on Amazon, link in the description. And including we have Fury HyperX DDR3 1866 MHz along with Viper 1600 MHz DDR3. And a lot of things people don't know is you can mix both RAM speeds as long as they're compatible with your processor. And along with that, I already have the processor in because this is my main PC. And what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to install the processor real quick. So for this processor, we went with the AMD A6 7400K. It's a fairly cheap processor and you get pretty decent performance out of it, even though it has dual cores and most people are using quad cores or more. But it's still a good price for what it is, and it's an APU, and you get just overall pretty good performance out of it. Along to the processor, I'm going to show you guys how to safely take it out. So this is a little retention arm, and when you have your processor installed, this will be pulled down like this. What you want to do is, in order to take this out, you can lift up this little retention arm, make sure it pops, or it might not pop, and you just gently, no pressure, lift up your processor. And you need to be careful because of these little pins on the end of it. And while you just really need to be careful with this, because if any of these pins bend, you could be in some serious shit. So in order to install an AMD processor, you need to find the little gold triangle at the end of it, which will be right there. And there's usually a triangle on the motherboard to indicate where that is, as you can see right there. Line them together, no force, apply the processor onto the socket, gently push it down. As you can see, it is in, no force, no, do not push down, otherwise you may bend a pin. Pull down gently, and you're installed. Now, after you do that, we're going to move on to RAM. You can usually see it labeled next to the slot. So in order to do this, a lot of people should know how to do this already. You line it in each little slot, carefully, and then you move it down towards lined up, just like that. Even pressure, you push it side to side on both sides. So, in order to install this, once you have it stuck in the slot, you need to evenly apply pressure to both sides until both fans come down, just like that. Make sure it's in there, push down some in the middle, get your rubber stick. Just find the right orientation and line it up with a little rivet in the slide. You can see it easily once you're building. Do the same thing with either sticks. Make sure you get it. It's easy as hell. Push down right there and there. So the next part about after installing your processor and RAM, you want to install your PC. But one thing I did wrong, or potentially did wrong, is you always want to install your PC before you install your RAM. But luckily the CPU gets small, it's a stock cooler, and it performs. Well, not performs, it gives decent performance out of what you're doing. So you want to line the one that's farthest away because your cords can be long. So in order to install these, you put either little arm on each side, and there will be these little tabs. And what you do is you just gently move it around. Do not apply any weird pressure to your processor. You could damage it easily, considering this is not an LG socket whatsoever. So you could easily just line it down, and once it's in the middle, lined up, you grab these little retention arms. Make sure they get evened out on each little piece of plastic. Now take this lever and just push gently down once you have it aligned. So that seems about right. Almost there. I'm there. Be safe after you plug it in. One of the important things when you have a non-cable management case is you want to take every single one of these cords here, and you want to make sure that they're tiny nook and crannies. You want to look for every nook and cranny, in fact, and you just want to stuff them between these tabs that are supplied with a case, and if you don't have any, it's not hard. Just get some zip ties, maybe a little bit of tape here and there, and you should be good to go. Make sure it's all even, otherwise you're going to be pulling pins on your motherboard. So when you do have your motherboard all hooked up and ready to rock, what you want to do is you want to gently put it in. And I did this fan header modification. This is not required. My cord wasn't long enough. So anyway, what you want to do is you just want to gently slide it in right there. But before you do it, before you slide it all the way in, this is a very important part because it keeps dust off your motherboard and keeps your parts protected. This is the I/O shield, and what you want to do is you just want to find how it goes in, just like this. And once it's in, push each side evenly until you hear each side pop in. Check the front to make sure everything's in, and of course it's in fine for me. And now that it's in, it's not. You're gonna see that your parts, your little ports, are not going to go in the holes. But that's fine. That's how it's meant to be. It's what's supposed to be pressure being applied to. Some things we're gonna have to bend, maybe go above it a little. Fit just okay, and that's how you do it. And now it's time, I'd say, to get your screws. So we have our tray screws here on the side panel, and we're gonna do this. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Grab the screw out, and we're gonna work our way over here. Get any screwdriver of your choice as long as it fits the screws. Of course, it's not rocket science. And you take these and you make sure you want to apply a small bits of force into the screws so your motherboard just gets itself aligned. And I'm struggling a little here. I'll be back once it is all screwed up. Okay, so here. And we're just going to pop this little baby in. Good. And oh my god, you've installed your motherboard. So now we're going to move on to our next part. So the next part that every PC has a requirement for is the power supply. And so this exact PC we're building, we went with the EVGA 600B 80 plus bronze power supply, 600 watts apparently, of course. And yeah, we're just gonna put this in. It's very simple. All you need to do is just see this little tab right here, and not all cases will be like this. Mine is, and you just want to push in and slide it underneath this tab like so. Make sure everything's aligned and nothing is having any force applied to it except the screws that you're going to be screwing into the front. And I'm having a bit of an issue here, but that is okay. It's my cords and I'm cable managing. Okay, so once you have this installed, make sure your cords are in a good way. You just want to sometimes bend these little arms down to get your cords back evenly aligned again. And of course, cable management is going to be atrocious with this, but we can manage. Once you do this, just go get more screws here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 screws. Lift up your PC vertically or horizontally, whichever you like. And what you want to do is take each screw that is on the back of your power supply and screw it in. Okay, so another important part of this is your power connector for your motherboard. Some will use 20 pin, mine in fact uses 24 pin, so either it will just straight up be 24 pins, or it may come just 20 pin, but mine has an adapter on the side of it for 24 pin. What I'm going to be doing is you evenly make sure that this stays on, this pin right here. You push down, have to keep everything nice and tight, and it's in. It's that simple, but next, what we're going to do is, of course, find your CPU cords. I only have one CPU, but it will work. You don't need to worry about having a spare little cord out. You just take your CPU cord, and what you want to do is just plug it in. Right here, there's little 4 pins. Of course, I put mine in around like this, because the cord is bent that way. And And yeah, it's really simple. And next part, what we're gonna do is your little power cable. Now, notice the pins are all there except for one, and this coordinates with the pins on here. So what you want to do is you want to line it up, and you want to just find the little socket. Just push down. That easy. You just want to do this little ass push down method. Make sure everything's aligned. Push. Make sure this one's aligned. And push. Now I believe my case I have a spare one somewhere, but that's completely okay. It's not going to damage your parts in any way as long as you keep it off your motherboard. Now plug your fan header in for the back of your case. There could be 3 different pins, and you just line it up with a little piece right here. And just like the CPU, plug it in. So another important thing to do to keep airflow and good cooling performance is you need to make sure your cables are managed. And if you don't have them, it can cause airflow issues. And one of my methods is shoving, if you have any spare bays open, shove these cords that you don't use into these bays, and the front of your case will cover up nice and tightly and cleanly. And after you've done anything like that, the next part we're going to be moving over to is this hard drive. It only costed me $20. Refurbished on Amazon, and what you do in order to install these, it's really simple. All you do really is just plug it in and just slide it into the first slot or whichever slot you prefer, but BIOS will tell you which slot it's in. So another thing you need to do is, of course, get your screws. And sometimes they'll fall off, and I've heard a lot of stories where the screw goes into the motherboard and you have to rebuild the whole system because it can surge something out, causing bad issues, or just fuck up. See? So what you do is you just screw it in gently. Yeah, just like this. It's hard to really say something when you're screwing something, but you know, it works. Whatever you're comfortable with recording with. Just keep screwing these in. And at this point, you're pretty much almost done, but you just want to keep screwing it in. Don't stop. Make sure all screws are in. This is very important because it can cause a lot of rocking issues with your hard drive, which can cause it to not spin correctly and lose data, which is not good. And then you're gonna have to go to the data recovery center. And if your hard drive is just plain broken, you're just gonna have to get in the hard drive and reinstall Windows. Unless you have an online storage account somewhere, but anything for it. So once you have these cords, you just want to get the one that's closest to the end, and you want to plug it into the hard drive, just like that. And right after that, in order to install a hard drive, you need to get something called SATA cables. These are, of course, commonly known. I'm sure no one's an idiot with these, and you just want to plug these in like that. They plug in right here. If your graphics card gets in the way, there's always this one right here. And that's the case with ours. And we'll be reviewing the graphics card in a minute here. I'll show some benchmarks as well. And on to the next part. So I myself have 2 hard drives. I formatted this one. This one was corrupted. I got it fixed. I managed to. And you can install a second hard drive in this bay. This one's a little thinner. It's 1 terabyte. This is my mass storage. This is just another mass storage. I don't have any SSDs. One, they're overpriced, and they may be faster, but in my opinion, they're less reliable. But it's kind of dumb for me to think that way. But, you know, it's fine. It works. Whatever works, whatever's cheap, whatever is cheap, just go with it. Just slot that in there. It's not, some hard drives will be thinner, so they will kind of drop a little. That's fine. Don't worry, as long as you screw everything in tightly. But on this bay, I have an old screw, and it just needs to go out. So we'll get back to you when we get this out. So again, same method with the drive, except a little bit more slightness to it, just a slight. This case, the Byron 518 case. It's an old case from early/late 2000s. This original PC unit was just honest trash. It didn't have any DirectX modes, I don't believe. or any version of DirectX in general. They run with half-life opposing force on low settings at the lowest resolution, which was around like 600 pixels. And you know, I thought that maybe it would be a good idea to bring this case back to life, because you know, sleeper PCs are awesome. And I do consider this a sleeper PC because the case is in fact outdated. So yeah, just keep screwing it in. Same method over and over. Just keep screwing and screwing. Did that XY. Amazing joke, right, cameraman?
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, just keep screwing here. Not really worried about family friendly here, so it's probably just gonna end up doing sponsorships at one point when this channel gets bigger. But you know, it works for now, and maybe YouTube will lighten up on us. I mean, we are new. We don't have any strikes. I mean, yeah, it's pretty simple. Yeah, just keep screwing in, and this is very enjoyable once you get to do it yourself. And make sure that these are equal in length. See, this one won't fit. If you were to force this, you'd probably break something, and I don't want you to see anyone doing that for PC, especially budget PCs. Even though they're very cheap to replace, not all people have it that easy. So what you want to do is you just want to plug it in again, but this time, here's the twist. This SATA cable, the other one I had, I went up to 6 gigabytes a second, just wouldn't work, and it was interfering with my graphics card, and which is really annoying in my part. And what you want to do is you just want to plug it in a weird way, a way that you're not supposed to, but a way that works, just like that. And yeah, lift this right here and plug it in. So I don't really manage cable management that much. I know it's very important, but I only have one case fan, and everything that gets hot sits right here. So it's just not as an important thing to me, even though it should be. So of course I have spare cords. My advice is I already zip tied these, but you want to roll them up like this. And once you have them rolled up nice, shove them in the hard drive bay next to the other ones. And it actually doesn't look that bad. From the side view, it really, if you open up your side panel, it really just doesn't look bad, and you can just make it look pretty nice in my opinion. So, on to the next part. So, this is the man of the show. It's, of course, an outdated card, but you can find these in eBay for a very good price, and you get the performance you'd expect out of a $30 card, which this is what this cost me on a bid, and, you know, they offer decent performance for today. I mean, you can't play any modern games, but if you're more of a 2013, 2014, maybe 2010 gamer, this is perfect for you. And you can still run a few new titles with this, including Fortnite medium settings, around 40 to 30 FPS, which is still good. Sometimes you'll hit 60, but we'll be showing these benchmarks soon, but we're not going to be doing Fortnite today. I have that uninstalled in my main system, because I really just don't like it, and it's not part of this video, so let's put this graphics card in. And you just want to put it in gently. Make sure the cords are out of the way. There's this little slot in there. This should say PCIe 16X, or whatever type of slot you have, 8X, just in general. This is a 16X 3.0, and you just want to pop it in until you hit a little clamp, or if you don't have a little clamp, it's usually because you have different retention arm to hold the back of the card down. And yeah, that should be pretty much it. And what you need to do is, a lot of cards, actually most of them today, have these little power connectors. And in order to install these, it's very easy. It's no different than installing your CPU and headers, but of course, oh look, we have an issue. A lot of times, it's really hard to reach back there, and this won't be able to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to correct this issue. So first things first, pull your video card out. Like again, just push down that little retention arm. Gently pull it out in any direction chosen that won't break anything. Have this in a fair area or location in the case you want it. Just pull it through gently. Be careful of your hardware. And plug this one in the bottom and plug this one in the top. And there is an adapter if you have an 8-pin graphics card, which is completely okay. And they offer usually great performance today. Usually 8-pin graphics cards offer that more than a GTX 460, if that really made sense to you. But anyone who's watching this, hopefully, we're just going to go in here, now you're slotted in again, and you're plugged in. And now, in order to retain it down, first, you're going to have to see this extra slot right here, and you're like, why is it open? And that's where these little guys come in handy. They're just your slot covers. If you don't have any on your case, it's fine. They're cheap as hell. In fact, they're probably like $1 a piece. Probably, maybe even less. Who knows? And what you do is you just slot them in these little slots. Pretty simple. You should already know how to do this if you're checking out your case. You have one. But I'm not going to assume everybody has a case from early 2000s. But after you do this is where the really rogue screw comes into part. And you can get the screw that holds down the graphics card and these slots. And what you do is you put the screw in here. But first, make sure everything's lined up straight in here. And if it's not, just use your fingers and finesse it into place. It's not very hard. Of course, this middle one here is giving me a bit of a struggle, but something I can handle, of course. In fact, anybody can handle. Help. Because it's kind of sad thinking that nobody can plug this in. But anyway, aside from slowly taking course off to mentally disabled people, or not even mentally, just physically, not trying to be mean, just plug this screw right. Okay. Because you don't want to get off topic when you're doing a build like this. You just want to stay keen to what you're talking about. So sometimes you'll have a bit of a struggle doing this, and you just want to make sure it gets straight as possible. And yeah, just make sure it gets straight. Use your thumb, and if you have long fingernails, I should say, it's really easy to get into corners and open things up, and it may be gross, but you know, it's close sometimes. And now that that's in, push down both sides, make sure your screw doesn't pop out, and you should be good. So we're going to be my friend here, and we have sort of something just here for aesthetic. It really just makes your case look ugly if you don't have this in, and I prefer you have it. It's an old, you could put, you know, SD cards, XD cards, CF-MD, I mean slash, not dash. Yeah, you can just put pretty much any type of card you want here, and that's pretty good. It's basically like a floppy drive page, just a little bit upgraded. So yeah, you just slide that in from the front actually, not the back, don't try that. And yeah, just slide right in, and it will line up with these little screws. This is exactly how you install CD-ROM as well. You just want to get these little screws on the side here, little screw holes. And once you have that in, you can just screw in. I only have one screw left, but that's okay. They're not really important. It's not even going to be plugged into the machine, so it's just there for looks. And I say it looks pretty good. So I do notice we do have a minor issue here, but don't worry. When your side panel's on, this is going to rest like this, and it's not going to be touching graphics card, causing any sort of surge. Which I'd say I don't really say surge that much, but it's just what I'd like to say for this video. So on to the last step. Built your PC, ready to go. Put each screw right here. It's lightning outside, it's amazing. You just built your own game. Or hopefully this helped. But what you want to do is you just want to put the front of your case on, because you can't put on your side panel without your front piece. Unless you have a weird ass case, but you know, who really has those types of cases? And yeah, take this side panel. Put it right here. Make sure each side's aligned, and as you can see, this tab's pulling out. So what you want to do in order to fix this is you want to put your PC on its side real quick. This is just a minor issue that comes with a lot of PCs. Once on your side, you need to gently slide this into place above each little slot. And yeah, so make sure everything's plugged in. You'll see a bulge on these little edges, but right now I have none. Take these little screws to hold your PC together, which is now at least 45 pounds, I'd say. And yeah, just screw them in. These are thumb screws. Sometimes you'll get regular screws.